This question really shows off one of the key strategies for the current SAT, the strong words idea. But before we get into the choices, let's take a look again at the passage and use my favorite kind of reading strategy so far for this new test, dumb summaries. They really help. So we need to kind of logically complete the text. So let's just try to understand the very basic logic of what we already are given. Many animals, including humans, must sleep, and sleep is known to have a role in everything from healing injuries to encoding information in long-term memory. So what's the dumb summary? Sleep good. How about the next sentence? But some scientists claim that from an evolutionary standpoint, deep sleep for hours at a time leaves an animal so vulnerable that the known benefits of sleeping seem insufficient. Blah, blah, blah. Let's just kind of stop there. Sleep bad. Uh-oh. And now what do they say? It's insufficient to explain why it has become so widespread in the animal kingdom. So then the last part here is maybe just, why sleep? Right? How dumb is this summary? Sleep good, but sleep bad. So why sleep? We need to answer that, right? That's something about this because kind of leading to that question. So as we look at the choices, we're kind of looking to match that connotation that we had, this kind of positive, negative mixture. But let's just kind of see, there's other words that stand out of these choices really powerfully for me that I'm very nervous about in any SAT reading section throughout all time, okay? Choice A, it is more important to understand how widespread prolonged deep sleep is than to understand its function. This is making a really big comparison, right? So first of all, there's no connotation to this, right? It doesn't say sleep is good or bad, so that's not great. We need to kind of at least have one of those things in here. But also, they're not ranking what aspect of sleep we should study. They're not comparing different pieces here. They're just talking about sleep very generally. Maybe you leave this in because it's kind of a weirdly worded choice, but let's look at the others. Choice B, prolonged deep sleep is likely advantageous in ways that have yet to be discovered. So here's the sleep good part, so that's good. And why sleep? It has yet to be discovered. Why sleep? Well, we're going to figure it out because some things need to be discovered. That seems like it at least matches our dumb summary. Let's keep going. Many traits that provide significant benefits for an animal also likely pose risks to that animal. I'm going to highlight this because this is really, really bad. This is a very clear example of a strong word or phrase. Many traits? How many traits are we talking about in this passage? Just one, the trait of sleeping, okay? So to be able to then go beyond the sleep and think about all sorts of traits, that's very, very bad logic. You're not allowed to do that. The passage is about sleep, the choice better be about sleep, not about all sorts of traits that we haven't even mentioned. Choice D has something very similar. Most traits perform functions that are hard to understand from an evolutionary standpoint. Again, we only are talking about one trait. We are not allowed to start extrapolating about all of the traits. And it's certainly most, a word that implies that more than half of our traits are hard to understand. We don't know that. We have one trait mentioned in the passage. It's got to be about the one trait. And so B was definitely the better of the two choices. Even if you kept A around, I think that B just kind of has a nice little match to our dumb summary. It doesn't quite bring in the sleep bad part, or at least not as clearly as I might want, but it's certainly implying it that we don't understand enough about what sleep does, and it might appear bad. So try your best to come up with that dumb summary at first. It'll keep you guided, it'll keep you focused, I should say, as you sort through the choices, but also be really alert for strong words. Most and many, these are really big red flags no matter what version of the SAT you're taking. If you see those words in choices, you've got to be really, really nervous about that choice. It's probably wrong.